You're listening to the Focused and Fearless podcast. I'm your host, Heather Angel, and I've been helping people tune into what lights them up and increase their personal and professional performance for over a decade. Now I'm best known as a high-performance coach helping entrepreneurs like you cut through the noise and create a business and life on your terms. If you're ready to step out of struggle and discover how simple it can be to create a fulfilling, joyful, and successful business without all the overwhelm and long hours, you're in the right place.
Hey gorgeous! So today I want to talk about productivity. We need to have a little chat about how you can get more done without working any harder. And what I find is there's really simple tricks that you can do to prepare for a really productive day without having to hustle and work much harder to get the stuff done. So I'm going to go straight into it. This is going to be a really short, to the point, actionable episode for you today because I have lots more long episodes coming up with incredible interviews. So today's going to be really to the point. So first thing, if you want to get the most out of your day, I want you to actually not overestimate how much you're going to get done. This is the number one problem. You kind of look at your diary. I had this in my membership the other day. One of my clients was saying that, she's got a whole day without the kids. Now, realistically, for many of us, if you're a parent, a whole day is 6 hours. And actually, if you chop off the time of picking up the kids and taking them to school and then lunch and everything else, you've maybe got 5, if you're lucky. But mentally, you're like, I've got this entire day that I can do all this stuff. Realistically, you have to look at what you can achieve in that day and what is the most important priority task for you to be tackling. So don't overestimate and try and cram in too much in too short a time because you'll find you'll just burn out of energy anyway. And then no matter how much you get done, you'll get to the end of that day and be like, I didn't even get halfway through my to-do list. And that's really deflating. So don't overestimate how much you can get done. Number 2, give yourself a time container or a project container. Now, what do I mean by this? If you think you get to the start of the day and you're like, I have got so much stuff to do, lots of like really bitty things, like all the little bits you've got to do, the little bits of admin, or maybe you've got to send some emails and you've got to do this, that and the other, like maybe just tidy up a few podcast episodes, whatever it is, it's lots and lots of little bitty things that need to be done. And maybe they're things that only you can do in the business, but they've got to get done. But there's lots of them. So when you have this kind of situation, I always use a time container. Now, what this means is that, say, for example, you need to do your accounts, and that's a matter of going through your accounting software and reconciling things. You give yourself a hard container of time. Now, by doing this, excuse me, my voice is going. I'm not really quite sure why, but hopefully it'll last the episode. So give yourself a container of time. Now, this could be 20 minutes, half an hour. You'll know because you've done this task before. And if it's a task that you haven't done before, then just guess and you'll soon learn whether you've given yourself too much or not enough time. But for example, with the account, give yourself that 20 minutes, put on a timer and crack on. Don't get distracted. Work on those accounts, get them all reconciled, do what you need to do, and then you're done. You focus on that in that amount of time. Now, what you can do, if it's a like ongoing project, which you're going to be working on in little short spurts of time over a long period of time, that's when you can use a time container as well, because you could work on a project. Maybe you're writing a book. You could set yourself an hour or half an hour or whatever you want every single day to work on writing your book. And you have this very definite container of time. So that's one way you can do it, especially if you've got lots of little things to do. It helps keep you focused, and it also kind of puts a rocket up you a little bit because it's so easy when we're working for ourselves in our offices by ourselves, no one else around, to just get so distracted and faff about. So especially if one of the things you need to do is go into your social media platform, whatever that might be, and respond to comments, check messages, that kind of thing. Before you know it, you've clicked on something, you've gone down a rabbit hole, and 20 minutes later, you're still faffing about on Facebook, but haven't actually done the thing you went in there to do. Okay, we've all done it. So if you give yourself a really strict container of time, you know that you've got to get through all of those comments, reply to everyone, resend those messages, all the things you need to do before that timer goes off. It's just a little bit of a fun way to make sure you keep that momentum going. And then once that task is finished, you can then take a break if it's been a little while, or then just move straight on to the next task and set a timer for that as well. And like I said, some of these things might be 10 minutes, some of them might be 45 minutes or an hour. Very much depends on the task. But that really helps you stay focused when you've got lots and lots of little things to do. The project container is slightly different. So if you've got this day ahead of you, or you've got this one day where you haven't got any client meetings and you really want to get started on a project, or you've got this big project that you need to work on, you work on it until it's done. Now, this is slightly different. For those of you that are parents, unfortunately, you can't get to that sort of 2:30 mark and go, oh, well, I'm just going to keep working. My kids will just have to stay and wait outside the school gates for another few hours until I'm finished with my project. We can't do that. And I appreciate you might have other deadlines that are going to impact this. But a project deadline works project container works really well if you have got this thing that you've been wanting to do. And usually they're the really important things that are going to move your business forward. For an example, in my business, I've got a 90-day planner, which is going to be available on Amazon next quarter. But oh my goodness, the amount of times I've tried to do little bits of it, and I now know using the time container for that has not worked for me. I need to use it as a project container. I absolutely need to sit down when I'm child free and I have no other clients, nothing else going on. I need to sit down and get it finished from start to end in one day. Like, just get it done. And that works really well for me. And I've done that in other projects as well, podcasting, for example. Just get the work done, and you basically don't stop until it's finished. I have breaks and everything, obviously, but that project is your one thing, and you work on it until it is finished. And that might be a couple of hours, it might be a couple of days, but you work on it until it is done. You don't start doing any other tasks or any other work until that project is complete. So that's tip number 2. Have a time container or a project container. And then number 3, do not multitask. I don't know how many times I have to say this to people, but don't do it. I know it might feel like you're getting more done because you're doing a bit of this, doing a bit of that, tidying up, checking emails, sorting out your kids' packed lunchboxes, whatever it is you're doing. But honestly, you're just doing none of those things very well because you're trying to do lots of different things in one go. Now, I appreciate in the home life, you might be listening to a podcast and doing the cleaning and things like that. That's different, okay? You don't need to give all your attention to the cleaning. You don't need to give all your attention to the podcast. But when you're working, when you are trying to do really good work, your best work, for the love of God, do not multitask. Focus on the task in hand, give it your all, get it done. You'll get it done quicker. It will be better quality. There'll be less mistakes. And then you can move on to the next task. Do not multitask. Have I made myself clear? I will not repeat this one. Do not multitask. Just stop. I feel like I'm repeating that one all the time. Most of my clients, it's like, please don't multitask. Such a waste of time. Okay. Number 4 is decide the night before what you will work on and actually visualize yourself feeling energized and having a great day, having completed those tasks. Okay. This is a really fun one. It takes a few seconds, honestly. Planning your week ahead works so well. I always plan my week, or just at least look at my week and see what's in my diary and decide what projects I'm going to work on, what work I'm going to do, and what time I have to do it. And I always do that on the weekend, usually either a Friday night or on the weekend for the week ahead. However, what's really beneficial as well is just checking in the night before. Right, what have I got in my calendar tomorrow? What clients have I got? What work have I got going on? All the different things. And then actually, either when you wake up or before you go to bed, before you go to bed, I find is most effective. But if you forget, you can do this when you wake up in the morning. Visualize your day going exactly how you want it to. It's so powerful. I know it sounds like it's not a doing thing, but it's really, really powerful. If you actually visualize your day going really well, it really helps you stay on track and actually see that day through exactly how you want it to go. And it also helps you give you that resilience. If you get a curveball thrown at you, if something doesn't go quite right, visualizing and knowing that actually this day is going to go the way you want it to gives you that extra resilience to overcome any hurdles. So visualize the night before or in the morning yourself really energized and having a great day, having completed those tasks that you need to do. Number 5, prep your space. This is really, really simple. Prep your space. Never, if you have, got plans to get on with loads of things in the morning, you should not then be sort of plugging in the laptop, sorting out stuff, getting paper in the printer if you need it, getting the pens that you need, the books that you need, the resources you need. No, that should all be prepped ahead of time. So whether that's a matter of, you clearing your desk the night before, making sure it's all ready, that you've got the pens you need, you've got the paperwork, your laptop's all set up, and maybe just making sure that there's space, because I know I create so much clutter throughout a day. There's just stuff, books that I pick up that I'm taking references from, or notepads and pens. I just accumulate a lot of crap on my desk throughout the day. So every night I clear it down, just tidy it up a little bit so that when I go there in the morning, I can open my laptop and I can get on with the task in hand, rather than faffing about, sorting out the printer, plugging in the camera or anything like that. Anything you need to make sure that you start your day well, prep it in the evening. So much better, because then you don't waste any time or get distracted when you are supposed to be doing your best work. Okay. Number 6, last one. Do your most important work when you are at your best. Now, I am not going to tell you that must be in the morning, and I'm not going to tell you that you must be up at 5 in the morning and get ready and blah 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 blah. I don't believe in being that prescriptive. You know when your energy is at your best. Now, I'll give you an example from my experience. I am really productive and I am on it like nobody's business in the morning. I am absolutely a morning person for sure. However, come about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I can't focus for toffee. I cannot focus. Can you tell I'm trying not to swear too much? I can't focus. I lose all sense of concentration around 1 o'clock. It doesn't even matter if I've been working solidly until then, or if I've been doing little bits and pieces. Come 1 o'clock until about 3-4 o'clock, can't focus at all. I'm rubbish. So I don't try and do my best work at that time. That might be when I'll do a little bit of creative work, or actually I'll just stop working. I won't do any work. I'll do something different. I might read or go out for a run or do something like that. But then come around 4 o'clock, my focus returns. I'm really energized around 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, which as a mum is really frustrating, because that's when I actually have to cook dinner, and I'm like, oh man, I could actually get so much done if I was back in the office. But that's fine. I'm really, really effective and efficient at cooking dinner. So I know where my energy peaks. So between in the morning for me, and then in the afternoon I'm a bit rubbish, and then come 4 o'clock I definitely pick up the pace until about 7 o'clock, and then after that, again, I know that my productivity falls through the floor because I'm just not that energized or focused after about 7 o'clock. So I'm aware of these. So if you're not aware of when your energy is at its best, maybe just keep a little note of it. When you're working during the day, when do you feel like you're really, really productive? When can you just fly through the work that you need to do? And when are you feeling like you're drudging your way through treacle just to get the work done? That is a real good telltale sign. I do appreciate that not everyone listening to this is going to have the flexibility to work when their energy is at its best. And of course, at times I have clients in the afternoon and I just have to have a coffee. It's fine, I can do that. But if you have that choice, if you have that flexibility, if you are able to completely structure your day in the way that you want to, listen to your energy levels, be aware of them, and structure it in a way where you're doing your best work when you are at your best. So those are the 6 tips to help you have a really focused and productive day. I hope they helped you. They definitely helped my Focused and Fearless members. So I really hope they helped you. Use them today, and by all means, let me know on Instagram in the DMs if they helped you and how they made you get more stuff done. All right, gorgeous. I will speak to you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Focused and Fearless podcast. If you'd like to continue the conversation or have a question that you would like answered in an upcoming episode, head over to Instagram and connect with me at Heather Angel Coaching. If you enjoy this podcast, please share your thoughts in a review on iTunes. I truly value your feedback and I take the time to read every single review. Have a beautiful week, and I'll see you in the next episode.